Has there ever been a time in your life, or maybe you're going through a time right now, where you really feel like you've got it all figured out? There are moments in life when we do. We think we have everything figured out. We make plans, we set goals, we even chase after what seems to be right in our own eyes. And even the Bible tells us that there is a way that seems right in our own eyes. But sometimes in our certainty, we are blinded to the greater plan that God has for us. And sometimes God has to get our attention in order to open our eyes to what His plan is instead of what our plan is. I don't know if that's ever happened to you, but it has happened to me. And I remember a time in my own life when I was sure of my path. I had worked hard, I prayed occasionally, I went to church from time to time, and I assumed that as long as things were going smooth in my life, I must be walking in God's will. But as I look back on that, I realized I was seeing life through my own perspective and not through God's eyes. But then there was a time when everything changed for me. I'd like to share that with you this morning. It wasn't a sudden, dramatic moment like Paul's encounter on the road to Damascus, but it was, however, just as real for me. Doors I thought were meant for me seemed to all of a sudden slam shut. The plans I had carefully laid out began to unravel. And so frustration began to set in because I couldn't understand why God wasn't blessing the path that I had chosen. But then, in that season of confusion, I did something that I hadn't truly ever done before. I surrendered to God's will. You see, I stopped telling God what I thought was best for me, and I started asking Him to show me what He wanted to be best for me. I prayed, Lord, open my eyes. I surrender my will to your will, my thoughts to your thoughts, and my actions to your actions. And you know what? That's exactly what He did. He showed me my path. It didn't happen all at once, but little by little, God peeled away the layers of my own understanding, and I began to see how I had chased after my own version of success instead of seeking His will. I had been so focused on what I wanted that I had missed the opportunities He had been placing right in front of me all along. Just like Saul, whose eyes were open when Ananias laid hands on him, I began to see a clearer picture of my own future. The things I once valued seemed far less important now, and the things I had overlooked, well, they became more in focus. And I began to realize that sometimes what feels like God taking something away from me is actually Him making room for something better for me. And I hope you hold on to that this morning, because we all have moments when we think we know best, when we view the world through our limited eyesight. But God sees beyond what we can imagine. And when we let Him remove the scales from our eyes the way He did Saul of Tarsus, we begin to understand that His ways are higher, His plans greater, and His love deeper than we could ever comprehend. So this morning, if you're in a season where life feels uncertain, if doors have closed and plans have fallen apart, don't lose heart. You're not falling apart. You're actually just falling into place. It might just be that God is getting your attention, preparing you to see His plan more clearly than you ever have before. Trust Him today. Surrender to Him today and ask Him to open your eyes, because when the scales fall away, you will see that His plan was always better than your own. Be safe, be strong, and be blessed. And be aware today that God means you no harm. He only wants the very best for you. And if He has to take something away, be sure what He's bringing is far better than what you lose. Lord's will, we'll see you back here again tomorrow. And until then, I sure hope you have a great day.